So jumping off of ranked, I think obviously ESPN Esports, we have to ask about the possible esports scene, almost guaranteed esports scene. When you guys say this game is going to be competitive, you want the highest level of players playing it, there has to be an esports scene. How do you foresee the esports scene in Valorant? I know you talked a little bit about Dr. Lupo, but if you could, talk a little bit about it more.
I'm like, Joe, you've answered so many questions, but you should probably answer this one too.
So
I'm just kind of like hanging out listening to Joe talk. It's nice. I'm like taking a break. Yeah, I mean, I think Joe should probably go into it in a little bit more detail, but I will say that it's an esport is something that grows from a game, and I think that we're going into this hoping and wanting this to be an esport and a really big esport if that's what the community is looking for. How that esport is shaped, how that's something I think we want to do a little bit more grassroots, a little bit more organically, but yes, there's a ton of interest already, and we're interested in scaling it. I just don't think our plans are such that we can say this is what competitive esport of Valorant is going to look like and coming now.
Yeah, Anna nailed the motivation there. I think we really want to make sure that this is an esport that can grow with the players that are really interested in that competitive layer of Valorant. And honestly, making it like sort of growing an esport these days is a lot more complicated because esports is so big these days. There's so many different partners to work with. There's the organizations that typically you see inside of esports in different games. There are brand new players who are coming in. They're with high competitive motivation. There's high level players who are in there, and we want to make sure that we're balancing all those different pieces to build the right esport that players want, and that they're going to enjoy and have a sense of sort of that motivation to engage with. And so that's going to take some time to roll out. Right now, there is a team working on it, and that team is in meetings like 24/7 right now, talking about different pieces of this. And we're very tightly connected to them. So for us on the development side, as well as for them on the esports side, we sort of marry together when we're talking about some of these competitive layers of the game. And then we go back and forth about what we want to see, both in competitive and how that translates up into the highest echelon of play.